You're first.
Oh, my
You're
goodness.
first.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Do you see all the love? So Robin can
Yes.
see the chat right now. So every one of you typing in the chat, sending her messages.
Oh, wow.
She's seeing it right here. Give it up for Robin Roberts. Honor to be with you.
Oh, my goodness. This is wonderful. I love the one. You're not crazy. You're just Robin. I love that one. That was a good one. Oh.
What I love is
Hey.
dancing with you. What an honor.
How are you?
I am
How are
so
you,
good.
my friend?
And I'm
Yes, you are.
So grateful.
Woo, it's happening.
It's happening. Worthy's here. You're here.
Oh.
250,000 people are here for all of us to build self-worth together.
Yes, let's
All
do
of
it
us
together.
build
What a
self-worth.
community. What a community.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
How does it feel to hear Mrs. Robin Roberts? Look at this. Give it
A
up.
little ring on it.
Mrs.
It feels, you know what? We have been together, Amber and I have been together almost 19 years and married just a few months. And we feel like newlyweds. It's just wonderful.
Yes. I love it. You guys glow like newlyweds.
Yes, we do.
You glow. You have matching newlywed shoes. The way that you two look at each other, I'm like, I need to up my game with
Oh,
Paolo.
come on. Come on. I've seen you and Paulo. You're doing just fine.
That's true. Well, Robin, today as we are diving into Worthy, we are unlearning so many of the lies that lead to self-doubt.
Yeah.
One of the biggest lies that so many of us believe is, if I am me, if I'm the real me, if people saw the real me, maybe I wouldn't be loved. So we show up as our representative, and you being just the anchor of the #1 morning show in the country, right?
Thank you.
#1 morning show in the country for almost 2 decades. And your journey, I mean, you're on this pedestal where millions and millions and millions of people love you. And I'm imagining it's a journey of sharing your authentic self. And how much of yourself do you share? And how has that journey been for you? Because you have shared a big part of your life with all of America,
have.
including Amber, including your whole journey.
Yes.
So can you share? Because there's a lot of people, and I read their messages, and a lot of people are like, I still show up as my representative.
I know. You send
Yeah.
that representative in instead of yourself. And think about when you first go out on some dates. How many dates does it take before you really show up? All right? Especially that first dinner date. When you get home, you can't wait to raid the fridge because you didn't even eat when you were out on that date.
True.
It's true.
Yeah.
And it's something, and I'm glad, Jamie, that you keep saying journey, because it is a journey. And it's not something that I just immediately gravitated toward. But success leaves clues. And what we're doing today is reminding folks a lot.
Yes.
It's like I was backstage with Amber, and I was nodding along to a lot of what you were saying, and I had a lot of aha moments. And for me, what I was so grateful for is that I was aware of myself, being intentional. People want you to be real, but you got to be real with yourself first. And there's so many times in my journey that I've learned that, and what really helped me be so open about Amber and my health journeys is when I became the co-anchor of Good Morning America, and I'm sitting next to Diane Sawyer and Charlie Gibson, and I have that imposter. I'm part of that percentage of women who reach a level, and I'm like going, how in the world did I get here? Even though I know I had done the work. I'd looked in local television, worked at ESPN, and award winner, all these things, but still I felt I wasn't enough to be there next to them. Hurricane Katrina happens in 2005. I had just been named the co-anchor with Charlie and Diane. They dispatched me down to Mississippi, which is my home state, and I had lost contact with my family, but I was used to that during storms, having grown up in the South. So I arrived that morning after the storm, not knowing if my family was how they were doing. I was able to find my mother, my sweet mother, before I went on the air. So I find her, I know that she's fine, I get back to the live location, and so I'm, again, I'm the new co-anchor with Charlie and Diane, so I'm doing the, yes, when I arrived on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and I'm being the broadcaster, you can relate to this, like what I'm supposed to do. Back to you in New York. And Charlie said, Robin, when you left here, you didn't know how your mom were you able to find her? And Jamie, as you know, I just started bawling. I couldn't stop crying because I was so grateful that I had found my mother, but I was also realizing that people were tuning in that morning not knowing about their loved ones. And I knew what that felt like. And I thought after I wrapped up, I'm like, I am fired. I just
on live national television, the brand new co-anchor, Good Morning America.
I mean, ugly, not the cute little, I mean, like the boo-hoo tears. And I'm so grateful that the audience watching lifted me up and they said, thank you for being your authentic self. Thank you for letting us feel and see your pain. And that told me right then, right at that moment, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't have to put on this facade of the anchor. I can be who I am, and I am the daughter of Lawrence and Lucy Marion Roberts, and I was just so glad that I found my mama that morning. And so that really taught me, just show up and be yourself.
And doesn't it just like, yeah, we can put the hands together for that? You know, it's this lesson that when you finally step into it, we all learn it, right?
Yeah.
It's the only way to have true connection with another human being, whether it's a friend, a partner, your social media community, your customers, is when you show up fully authentically. But we believe the lie, oh, but if they really see me, if they only knew, then I won't be loved. In that moment, I remember this moment, and you're sobbing, I remember your hair, everything, sobbing, and then people just connect. And I think this is such a powerful lesson for everyone right now, right, who's scared to be like, well, if they really saw me, it's like, oh, no. If they really see you, that is when you step into your power.
And it is a superpower.
Yes.
And vulnerability is a strength.
Yes.
It is not a weakness. And it is something, being your authentic self is a superpower that I am so grateful that over time, again, it doesn't happen overnight, but it's just being intentional, and it's just giving yourself grace. Just giving yourself grace. Yes.
And just to brag about my friend for a minute, after that moment, I don't know how long after that moment, but you helped lead Good Morning America to break another station's decade-long #1 spot. You guys took over as #1, as the #1 morning show.
And have been ever since.
And have been ever since.
Right.
Put our hands together for that, right? And the reason I call that out, it's really for every single person watching, because it's so easy to think if we're the real us, we won't be loved, but that is how we are. That's how we connect deeper. That's how we're seen more. That's how we see other people. And it's just always worth it. It's always worth it.
And there's something that you said earlier. There's so many pearls that you've already dropped. And you said something about, once this happens, then I'll be happy. If I get to this. And I used to dream of the moment that Good Morning America would be #1. And we were all working together for this. And I remember the moment we became #1. I didn't realize that same day I would be told that I had 1 to 2 years to live if I didn't have a successful bone marrow transplant. So I had wasted all this time thinking about, when we become #1, I'm going to be the happiest I've ever been. And you get so caught up and instead of just being in the moment. And I remember that night that we had this big celebration. And I had been dreaming of this night. And here I am having the doctor's appointment the next day and knowing what I had been told earlier that morning. And I see my Sam Champion's doing the limbo on the stage, up on the rooftop and that. And I just stood back. I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want to rob them of their joy of that moment. But it taught me something about being in the moment where you are. Don't be so caught up in how you think you're going to feel when something happens.
Yeah.
And I'm just so grateful that I learned that lesson, and I'm just so much more intentional than I've ever been in my life. Just really enjoying this moment right here with a good friend.
Yes,
right now.
Right now. That is so beautiful, because you can say, when that thing finally happens. And you don't know what's going to be happening when that thing finally happens.
You never know.
Right? And on top of it, and thank you for calling that out, because I think so many of us have delayed our happiness because we think, when that thing, and if we don't build our self-worth, we never realize that you arrive at that thing, but you still take you with you, right?
Yes,
That's why people
yes.
win the lotto and lose it, or go to the moon, or win the Olympic gold medal, or finally get the thing. And you're like, how could they mess up their whole life? It's because those things don't change the you that you take with you, which is why today is about raising the self-worth of you. And I think that's so beautiful.
And I love how you compared the self-worth with self-confidence, because I am a very confident person because I played sports. And first of all, I'm a proud product of Title IX. So grateful that Title IX was brought into my life, and I was able, and so I was. Did you know I was a state bowling champion when I was 12 years old in Mississippi? Please hold your applause. State bowling champion right here in the house.
I know a lot of things. I don't think I know that, though.
But so I had the self-confidence. I really did. But it wasn't until I realized that if we won or lost, I would feel a certain way. But and it was really reading your book and learning about self-worth and self-confidence. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have always been self-confident. But I've never thought, there were times I didn't feel worthy. And then I traced back, and I was like, those times that I did and combined the two, ceiling wasn't even enough. It was just really something that I think more people have to be aware of. And because you gave me an advanced copy of your book, and I've been sharing it with folks, and especially young people, and I will tell them about self-esteem is great, but knowing your self-worth. And I think that combination has really made a difference in my life. I know it has.
Yeah. Well, you tell us, Miss Robin Roberts, I love this so much. This is a day just about pouring in and adding value to every single person here today, and which is what you do every single morning on Good Morning America.
I love seeing everyone.
Can you share the D's? The D's.
Oh, the D's,
Yes,
the 3 Ds.
Yes.
Everybody should have their formula. And for me, even though my parents, they were first in their families to go to college, they met at Howard University. My father was a Tuskegee Airman, the first black flying Air Corps in the military. Just wonderful, wonderful. My parents who poured into me, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
And even though education was very important, it wasn't about the 3 R's. It was about the 3 D's in our family. And the first one, discipline. My father being in the military, discipline. And I remember something that my great mentor, Pat Summitt, the great coach at Tennessee, she said, if you discipline yourself so no one else has to. And so discipline was something that was very, very important. Determination and being my authentic self, determined to live my truth. So having that discipline and determination. And the 3rd D, my friend, and the most important D, the Lord. The Lord. So having that spirituality, whatever it is, and I'm glad that you said this is an inclusive environment here. We're not telling you to believe this or believe that, but I'm so grateful that I had that upbringing of being disciplined, about being determined, and the Lord. And my Glam Fam and I in the morning, how we share a morning message with people and just really try and uplift and just let you know that don't let fear keep you from your destiny. And all fear takes is the eye of a needle to get through, and it just paralyzes you. And it's so important for everybody to know, even here, we're all scared at times. Still, no matter what level of success, and it's sometimes I don't understand, and I'm as guilty of this as well. I'll set goals. I still have lofty goals for myself. And I'll think, I'm not going to be able to climb that mountain. And then I say to myself, Robin Renee, look at all these mountains you've already climbed. Why do you think this one in front of you is insurmountable when you've already done so much? And that's what I try and tell folks here, is to know your self-worth, but also to give yourself a break and realize, and just take a moment to realize all that you have accomplished at this point, and you can just apply that to whatever it is that you want to do. Because you don't know the reasons why people are here today. Everyone has a different reason. I mean, we know self-worth is at the bottom of it, but everybody has their own story. And to find that in this community to help them get to wherever it is that they want to be, where they want to be.
Right, I love that so much, and to look at all you've made it through, right? And it's funny just to share a little behind the scenes, because you mentioned your Glam Fam at Good Morning America.
They're watching. I know they're somewhere today. Yeah, Elena Petula, yes they are. They're somewhere out there.
So I had the great honor of going on Good Morning America with you this week to launch Worthy, and this is a little behind the scenes, you guys. I was freaking out, right? So every day of my life, I have to implement the tools in this book to believe I'm worthy, to believe I'm worthy. And as I'm about to walk out onto Good Morning America, and I was with Petula and Elena, and they were giving me the advice that you just said, because I know my stuff in this. Like, I know. And they're like, you've got to shed all the noise and let it flow through you, and let your faith flow through you too. You would not be in this room if you were not ready for this room, and God did not ordain this room for you. I'm like, yeah, you're right. And I just walked out kind of with what you just mentioned, is look at everything you've gone through, right, to get to where you are. And I think for everyone live right now with us, it's easy to say, well, here's what I'm struggling with. Here's what I want to overcome. Look how much you have overcome already.
Thank you.
Right? That is victorious. Can we put a round of applause for everybody and everything you've overcome so far? Yeah. We have a lot of really strong people in here. We've been through a lot.
And we're all, I really believe that we're all stronger than we know.
Yeah.
You know, those things that are placed in our path. And another thing that I've always learned, that you treat success and failure the same. You know, one's not better or worse than the other. It's like if you treat it both the same. And just knowing that building this kind of community, and just realizing, and just I think about everybody around here right now, knowing they're not alone in what it is that they want to do.
Yes. You know, that just brought to mind something I'm going to ask you, because so many people right now have or are in the midst of a setback, or a hard time, or a health diagnosis, or a challenge, or a disappointment. And I was with a friend this last week, Lori Harder, who said, when you take trapeze lessons, I didn't know this, they don't just teach you how to hang on the trapeze, they teach you how to fall, so that when you fall into the net, you're safe. And I just thought, when we come together and we share stories of how we get through things, we're teaching each other how to fall, so that we know we'll be caught. And I thought that was like a beautiful analogy. And what I want to ask you is, you have been through so much that would take someone down left and right, and you've emerged victoriously from MDS to cancer to, you know, your wife not that long ago diagnosed with cancer, roles reversed. Now you're the caretaker. Can you share, Robin, just with everyone here, how you have navigated so many setbacks, and just and how you handled the fear, and how did you keep faith? Did you ever not? And how did you emerge victoriously?
Because, as my mama said, everybody's got something. And it's just my something was a little more public than others, but everybody has something. Everybody here has something. And it's not divorce, it's not a health crisis, it's not unemployment, that's the tragedy. It's if you don't take time, this is what has helped me. Why was this placed in my path? Why has this happened for me, not to me? Why has this happened for me? What am I supposed to learn to help not only myself, but then to be able to share in case someone else is going to walk a similar journey? Because as you know, what my mama said, make your mess your message. Find the message in that mess that you're going through. And when you do that, that has helped me. I remember breast cancer happened, and I'm like, I knew people who had breast cancer. I'm going to get through this. MDS, myelodysplastic syndrome, I had never heard of it. I was told I would need a bone marrow transplant, and I'm going like, what is going on here? And then to learn that a family member is only a successful donor 30% of the time. So 70% of the time you need somebody on the registry. And so my message was to be able to increase the registry. I think that's why this has happened to me, because my sister and I have been able to get the word out more about the need for donors. So what has gotten me through it is knowing that I'm not alone, that it's not, I'm not the only one that has gone through whatever it is that I'm facing, and to really just take the time to understand and try. And you asked me, yes, my faith was shaken at times. I remember telling my mom, and I miss her every day, and I remember saying, I'm mad. I'm mad at the Creator. I'm mad at God. And everybody has but I'm mad. And she was like, oh, okay, honey, that's fine. But just don't stay mad. Just don't stay in that state. And I think that is really what has helped me to really realize that, okay, it's own my feelings and just don't stay in that kind of state. Move on. You got to change the way you think in order to change the way you feel. And that has really helped me a great deal.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I think one thing you just hit on is it's so key for everyone, because a lot of times when we have a big setback, we can let it take root and think that somehow,
Permanent.
it's permanent,
No.
no longer worthy. And I just want to highlight something Robin just said for everyone, because I think this is so key. In the midst of going through this, you talked about, the match registry and other people that are going through this. And if I remember right, I think the day that you announced this, wasn't there like a 1,800% increase in donors to the match?
Yes.
Yeah, and so you found purpose in what you were going through.
My pain. I found my purpose in my pain.
Your purpose in your pain.
Yes.
And this is so big because it's just such a great key. It's such a great key to building self-worth, which is what we're all doing today. That in the midst of our setbacks, like the things that Trent Shelton says this so beautifully, the things that we've gone through become the things we make it through. And we find that purpose when we help other people then make it through. And there's so many people running around going, I don't know what my purpose is. And they're trying to find their purpose in their job, and it doesn't feel right, and this and it's that. So often it's the things that we're going through or that we've made it through, and then we help others. We do something bigger than ourselves out of it. And you're kind of sharing that's what you did throughout this. And I just want to call that out, because that is beautiful, and that is going to help somebody today.
I sure hope it does, because it's really something. I mean, and when you're going through it, you don't know it at the time. You don't know that it's helpful or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you look back on it and you just realize that, and there were so many times, and I referred to my mother and my father so much. I mean, I was just so grateful in what they poured into their 4 children.
Yeah.
But my parents were not afraid to see their children fail, and they weren't helicopter parents, and they weren't there to catch us when we fell. They were there to pick us up when we did. And there's something that I'm very appreciative of that, in that I'm not afraid to. I don't like to fail. Who does?
Yeah.
But if you are afraid of failure, it means you're really not putting yourself out there. And just think about everybody right now who are making today about them. And it's especially hard for women, for us to do that. But that, to me, speaks volumes, in that they are putting themselves in position. Proximity is power. You can wish, hope, and pray all you want, and I'm a spiritual person, but you have to position yourself for good things to happen to you. And that's what people are doing today, positioning themselves for success.
Put our hands together for that.
Yeah.
One thing I would love for you to share on the topic of fear, you said this once and it just stuck with me, and it helped me be so much more brave when it comes to things. You talked once about how fear can be like a toddler nagging on you, and it feels big, but the second you acknowledge it,
Right.
it shrinks. Can you
Exactly.
share that?
Oh, my
this
goodness.
is really big. A lot of people are holding themselves back from living authentically, or from, raising their hand with their idea at work, or telling the person you want to be more than just friends, or putting your art or your idea out there. Right?
Preach.
Right,
I know that
right.
one.
So many of us. And so I just think that is, because we fear, if I fall flat on my face, if the person is not into me, if my idea is not well received, we fear. But then when you actually do the thing, can you share?
Oh, I
love
remember
how
that.
You say it so much better than me.
No,
I
you're doing
love
it
how
great.
you share this.
No, but it's so true. It's so true. Because when I think about it, before, I'm an optimistic person. Optimism is a muscle that gets stronger with the use. You got to get in the habit of being optimistic. So I have that going for me. But I used to push away when I would get a negative feeling of fear. I would put you're not here, push you away, push you away, push you away. And then it was in recent years that I realized, no, it's showing up for a reason. So it wants to be acknowledged. So when I would say, okay, fear, you're here, what do you want? It was almost like that little kid going, mommy, 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 mommy. And then you go, what? And the kid's got, I don't want anything. That was fear going nagging at me like this. And then when I said, what do you want? And fear's like, oh, I didn't realize, oh, you're paying attention to me? I was just trying to get your attention. And I think that happens so many times. We make it so big, much bigger than it actually is. And it's just acknowledging all the emotions that we feel. And that, again, goes back to your authentic self. That goes back to just being in the moment, feeling the good, feeling the bad, treating it the same. But just really, and I'm so glad that you asked me in our segment of what we were going to talk about authenticity, because I think we don't express it enough and we don't really understand what it means. And you have said it over and over again, and it's so true. We are all unique. We're all a masterpiece. I love to say we're each and every one of us, we're a limited edition. And when you think of yourself as being a limited edition, and when you're younger, you're always trying to fit in, and then you get older and you want to stand out. It's just really understanding the journey that we're on, and just, again, handle yourself with grace and kindness as you would the others that are here around you.
Yes.
Do that for yourself.
Do that for yourself each and every day.
Each and every day.
Each and every day. I want to say thank you so much for you doing that each and every day, for you literally saying good morning, America, to each one of us every single morning, for your just living, breathing example of beauty and strength and authenticity, and not believing that lie, if I'm me, I won't be loved, fully sharing who you are. And you have changed so many people's hearts.
It's freeing. I'm telling you, people, it is freeing when you do that. It's so scary, and I think about things that I held back and not sharing, and once that I did, and I realized, why was I so afraid? And it's just superpower. It's a superpower that each and every one of us have. I know it. I know it.
I love you very much. Thank you so much for being here on such a special day. You guys, Robin Roberts flew here from New York City to pour into each and every one of you. Can we
love that
together?
Robin, thank you! You got this one.
Right off stage. Before I bring him out, I want to share something so exciting with you right now. We're going to show you a quick video. If you're just joining us live, this is what today is all about. We are building unshakable self-worth. Take a look at this super fast video, and then I am joined by somebody who is going to rock your world live right here on the stage in just a moment. So quickly take a look at this video.
I am so excited for this book. You know why? Because it's going to save so many people. It's going to save people.
Worthy. Your new beautiful book, Worthy.
Get this book.
This book, I'm telling you, it's a book that can change anybody's life who picks it up.
Anybody who's ever felt that they were not good enough, didn't measure up, something's missing in your life, I have to tell you.
It's powerful. It's happening. It's worthy.
Imagine, what would you do if you fully believed in you? I went from struggling waitress facing non-stop rejection to founder of IT Cosmetics, a billion-dollar company, by learning how to overcome self-doubt and believe I am worthy of my hopes and dreams. And I'm sharing how you can too in my new book, Worthy, How to Believe You Are Enough and Transform Your Life. If you're ready to truly trust yourself and break through that barrier of self-doubt, and know that where you come from, or even where you are right now, doesn't determine where you're going, then Worthy is for you. It's time to go from doubting you're enough to knowing you're enough. It's time to step into all of who you are and into the person you were born to be. And it's time to believe that you are worthy of it. Because in life, we don't become what we want. We become what we believe we're worthy of. Join the Worthy movement today by grabbing your copy of Worthy anywhere books are sold, then head to worthybook.com now for free gifts, including my 5-part course on becoming unstoppable and my 95-page Worthy Workbook action plan that teaches you how to implement the tools from the book into your real life right now.
Worthy is groundbreaking.
Yo, my God! Worthy, you are worthy.
This book is going to change lives.
This book literally will teach you how to actually feel worthy so that you can have the strength, you can have the confidence.
The lessons in this book and the strategies will change your life. You will never be the same again after you read this book.
Jamie's book, Worthy, is a must-read. It is going to inspire you, empower you, give you the hope that you need and the kick in the rear end that you deserve.
Jamie's book, Worthy, is incredible.
The gifts are going away, but they're all free right now on worthybook.com.
Who's ready to become unstoppable today? Who's ready? He has been named the top performance and mindset coach in the world by USA Today. He is a renowned global entrepreneur, a best-selling author, host of the Ed Milet Show, which is now one of the fastest growing and most successful podcasts on the entire planet. He goes from sharing hardcore winning life and business strategies with his millions of followers online to having full-out conversations with his 3 little Pomeranians, Daisy, Lily, and Rose, on Instagram. He is one of the very few people on the planet that I call when I need to be reminded of the greatness inside of me on the days that I am tempted to forget it. And he is going to ignite the greatness that is you today. He's one of my dear friends, and today he will be one of yours too. Let me just show a quick video, and then we're going to bring Ed Milet out to the stage. Take a look at this video.
Ed Milet is an entrepreneur, inspirational speaker, best-selling author.
In his new book, The Power of One More, he's sharing the keys to success.
Help me in welcoming the man who, as a broke kid, pointed at a beautiful cliff overlooking the sea and said, "One day I'm going to live there." And now he does.
He is well known for combining spirituality and tactical thoughts and actions. Please welcome to the stage, Ed Milet.
Ed Milet.
Ed Milet.
Ed Milet. Ed Milet.
Wow. Hey. Christine, Linda, how are you? Congratulations. I love you. Are you happy?
So happy. Grateful. Ed Milet in the house.
Just re-welcome, right? Okay. Thank you. All right, thank you. Thank you. So good. Thank you. All right, let's get started. Thank you. Let's get started. So great to be with all of you. Look at all these beautiful faces. I'm honored to be here today. That's my dearest friend right there. And I just wanted to start out today by telling you that video that we just showed is kind of cheesy. I know that, seeing all these things. And I just want to set the stage for you who I really am. Because Jamie said, be vulnerable today, be authentic, which we are together, but I'm going to share this space with you today. I want to do that. Here's who I really am. That guy right there looks pretty good. but I'm just an average, ordinary person. And in fact, the truth is, most of you know this, but some of you may not. Who I really am is I'm the son of an alcoholic and a drug addict. And that's how I grew up. And so if any of you out there maybe come from a family that's not perfect or a little bit dysfunctional, I certainly connect with you. And because I came from that type of a family, I grew up not really believing that I was worthy of doing something great with my life. And if there's any part of you for any reason that has been lied to about your worthiness, I want to dispel that myth for you right now as we begin today. That's why Jamie's work in this book is so important to me. I take it very personally that she's done this work, and I encouraged her to do it when she told me she had the idea for it, because I know how deeply my life has been affected when I didn't believe I was worthy and then when I knew I was. And so I want to start out today by just reminding you of something, my dear, sweet friend, and that is that you were born to do something great with your life. You were. And if you've forgotten that, I'm here to remind you. I have to tell you, when you're doing something great with your life, you may not even know when you're doing it, by the way. And I can tell you when you're doing it, it will be in the service of other people. You'll be helping somebody. And the great lie of our life is that we're not qualified to do something great with our life. We think, well, somebody with great blessings and gifts, you look at the beauty or the singing voice of a Beyonce and you say, my gosh, look at those gifts. Of course, she's going to do something great with her life. Or a tremendous basketball player, a LeBron James, he's 6'8", he's chiseled. Well, that guy, he can do something great. But me, I'm average and ordinary. And what we do is we take for granted our own gifts that God gave us, the gifts of discernment, kindness, understanding, our resiliency, our toughness, our problem-solving skills, our humor, our beauty, whatever they might be. We discount our own gifts, and we believe we're not qualified. And maybe it's not even that. Maybe it's that you hold against yourself a past setback. I have so many friends that have told me, well, my divorce, I'm not qualified. Who's going to listen to me? Or I've had this bankruptcy, or I've made a mistake in my life. I hurt somebody, and I'm ashamed of something. And we use these things in our lives to disqualify ourselves. They're almost like weapons we use against our own destiny. I don't know how many of you feel that way. Or maybe it's none of that. It's just that you've always felt invisible. You've always been average and ordinary, and so since that's how you've always been, you're disqualified from changing that going forward. And that's the great lie of life. If you're a person of faith, if you believe in the adversary or the devil, that's what he's trying to get you to believe. He's trying to get you to believe these lies. If you don't believe in any of that, just realize this. Truth vibrates at the highest frequency. And when you speak truth to yourself, you're superhuman. And when lies are being told to you, you do hide in plain sight. You do diminish your light. I'm going to share you a story. As I said, my dad was an alcoholic. And I'm going to share with you, I'm going to show you qualifications here that you're not going to believe. My dad told me this story after he got sober. And I had forgotten. And I'd written my book. My book was The Power of One More. It did very well. And I woke up one night after the book was written, after all this was done, and I woke up crying. And my wife says, babe, what's wrong? And I said, I just had this epiphany. I'm 50 years old. I'm 52 now. This happened when I was 50. I said, babe, I just had this epiphany. I just realized something. Someone helped Daddy. And she said, what? I said, someone helped Daddy get sober. And I knew the story afterwards because my dad had told me that my dad was thinking of taking his own life. My mom had finally had enough and said, listen, I'm taking the kids with me. And my dad was on the worst moment of my father's life. Some precious human being stepped forward, just another human being, and acted greatly. And that person, I don't know who they are. I said, babe, I have no idea. And this person doesn't know I'm his son. But some precious human in my dad's lowest moment of his life stepped forward and said, I can help you. I can help you. And I said, this person doesn't know that they got my dad sober. I don't know if this was in an alley somewhere, a room, a bar. I don't even know where it happened. I don't know who they are, but this person changed my life, and they don't know. They helped my dad. I'm his son. I've reached millions of people. The ripple effect of helping one human being. We don't know what that could be, but I've reached millions of people. I've changed my family tree forever because of this one person acted greatly and helped my father. Is that not remarkable, babe, when you think of one person changed my life and I've never met them? And I said, and that's not the most remarkable part, babe. And she goes, what? I said, what is it that qualified them to help Daddy? Was how perfect they were? How amazing their life was? How brilliant they are? How intellectual they were? How their track record was amazing? Was that their qualifications? She said, I don't think so. I said, no, guess what qualified them? Guess what qualified them? They were also a drug addict and an alcoholic at one time. They also lied. They also lived in the shadows. They also did things they were ashamed of. Because in life, babe, we're most qualified to help the person we used to be. And that's why we grow in our lives. See, our qualifications aren't how perfect we are. Ironically, our qualifications oftentimes are our mistakes, are the very things that we think disqualify us are the great lies of life. They're actually the things that qualify us to help another person. This insecurity you feel, this lack of worthiness, this mistake you've made, this setback, this average and ordinary thing, that relationship that didn't work out. The fact that you have experienced that qualifies you, if you grow from it, to help all these millions of people, and maybe it's just one, by the way, that are feeling that same level of pain. That's the amazing dichotomy of life. And so that's the perfect example. And by the way, my dad stayed sober for the rest of his life, 35 years. And guess what my dad did? He then helped thousands of other people get sober because he paid it forward, because he was most qualified to help those that he used to be. And so are you. So, yes. So I'm not here today to just make you feel good about being worthy. I'm here to prove to you that the lie of your life so far has been these things that you think disqualify you, your average, ordinary, invisible, mistake, whatever it might be, is actually the thing qualifying you to do something awesome. See, what happens is we believe lies. I loved Robin's 3 Ds, especially Delord at the end. I loved it. I'm going to give you the 4 Ds that are lies in your life, because I think it's important. Let's step away from this. What is it that causes us not to make our dreams come true? What is it that causes us not to feel worthy? What are the weapons, if you believe a person of faith like I do, whatever your faith might be, that the adversary gets us to believe? What's the weapon the adversary gets us to believe that so we aren't worthy, or we won't take the step, or we won't write the book, or we won't start the business, or we won't go help that person we know we can help? What are the 4 Ds? Because there's 4 of them. I'm going to share with you. If I were the adversary, if I were the devil, if I just wanted you to fail, what would I start to use against you? 4 weapons. Let me tell you, maybe these will sound familiar to you. The first weapon that is used to steal your dream, to get you to feel less than worthy, I'm going to use the weapon of doubt. If I can get you doubting you're qualified, doubting you're ready, doubting you're smart enough, doubting you're pretty enough, doubting that it's going to work out, if I can just sow just a millisecond of seed of doubt in you, I got you. You're not going to chase your dream. You're going to flinch. See, doubt is a liar. It's a liar. It's a weapon that the weak use to get us to never achieve something great in our lives. How do I know this? I've lived a lot of my life with doubt. People ask me all the time. You know, I coach a lot of athletes. By the way, I would listen to my podcast. It's the best podcast in the world to change your life. I would. I have to tell you, when I work with these professional athletes, people tell me, what do you guys work on behind the scenes? Like the best athletes in the world, when they hire you to work with them, what is it? Guess what we usually work on most of the time? Eliminating their doubts. Even the best athletes in the world, when they go into a slump, they doubt, can I get it back? What happened to me? They start to question themselves. You can't perform an athletic event at a high level when you're in doubt mode. You've got to feel certain and focused and confident and worthy. So doubt is the first weapon. If you've ever experienced any doubt, now when it happens, you can go, this is a weapon, this is a lie. It vibrates at a low frequency. That's not the truth. See, here's a great lesson to know. You don't have to believe everything you think, my friend. A lot of the things you believe aren't true. You don't have to believe doubt when it comes up. You can see what's happening. You can see that this is trying to get me off my dream. This is trying to get me not to feel worthy. So doubt's weapon number 1. Weapon number 2, discouragement. That's the second D. If I can get you discouraged, I give you a little bit of a setback, a little bit of failure. See, discouragement means to remove courage, to discourage. If I can just, a little bit of failure, little setback, little criticism. Maybe a hater, maybe someone in your family just, what are you doing? We're not like that. I had all this discouragement in my life, and it's a lie. It's the thing the adversary is trying to get to use, or the world, the universe, you and your brain, this false part of you that's trying to get you to believe, if I can just get you discouraged, I got you. So the reason I tell you these things is if you can start to eliminate doubt when you see it, go, I know what this is. I know what you're trying to do to me. It loses its power over you. When you get discouraged, you can say, I know what this is. I know exactly what this is. This is the moment when I'm supposed to quit. This is when I usually give in. This is when I take a step back. This is when I shrink. When I get discouraged, I shrink. I play smaller. I begin to believe all the other lies about me. Discouragement's weapon number 2. The third weapon is delusion. We become delusional. We get a problem in our life and we repeat it, don't we? I do this, over and over and over, and we make it much bigger than it is. We take a weakness of our own that may be a little bit true, but we play it over and we magnify it. It gets delusional. We also do this, by the way, with success. You have to be careful when you become too successful that you become delusional and start to believe all these things about yourself and change. I've seen so many people get a little bit of progress, a little bit of success, and they get a little delusional, like, I've got it made, I've got it figured out, instead of staying committed to growing. See, delusion can mess your vision up. It can create lack of clarity. See, the Bible says where there is no vision, the people will perish. You know, when I meet most people, they have a vision. In fact, if I asked you right now, do you have a vision? Like, do you want to be happy or sad? What's the answer to that? What's the answer? Happy or sad? What's your vision for your life? I bet most of you would say happy. If I said, do you want to have a life with great memories and amazing moments that take your breath away, or a life that's just the same video over and over and over again with nothing great? I bet you'd tell me, my vision is I'd love some great memories and moments in my life. Am I right about that? Say yes. That was a yes. Right? If I said, hey, I want to make a difference in the world, I want my life to count, I want to do something special with my life. When my life's over, I want to know that I did something with it, that I maxed out my life. Or you don't care at all. You don't have any vision whatsoever. I bet you'd say, I want to make a difference in my life. Just like that man did. Oh, by the way, I found him, the person that helped my dad. You know, ironically, how cool God is. My name is Ed. My dad's name is Ed. My grandfather's name is Ed. Let's just all be honest here. It's not a cool name. It's not a cool name, and it's not a very common name. The man who helped my dad, you know what his name is? Ed. What are the irony? What are the chances of his name also being the same as all of ours? I'm Edward Michael Joseph Milet III, and the man who changed my life is also named Ed. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. So what happens in life is we have a vision. Here's our problem. You ready? It's not a lack of it. It's a depth perception problem. The delusion is we believe our dreams are further away than they are. We believe they're 20, 30 years away. And because we believe that, we create thoughts, patterns, behaviors, and belief systems that perpetually keep them there. Bam. When you get the cameraman saying, I love that, means you just said something pretty good, right? Means you're saying some stuff. You're preaching. So let me tell you something. That's a lie. What if the truth is you're one decision away from changing your life? One new meeting, one new relationship, one new encounter, one new thought, one speaker, one book away from completely changing your life. Because that's the truth. In your life, good or bad, you are one moment away, one decision away from a completely different life. In fact, you could do that right now. You could decide right now while I'm speaking, I'm just going to change a little bit. Doesn't need to be loud, doesn't need to be brash. It's just a shift. I'm going to start walking with a little bit more worthiness. I'm going to start thinking that way. I'm going to riddle out these 3 Ds he's told me so far. When I get doubt, I'm going to know what it is. When I get discouraged, I'm going to know what it is. When I get a little delusional, I start making a problem bigger than it is. I start thinking my dreams are years and years and years away. I'm going to know that's a delusion, and that's what's trying to get me off my dream, and I was born to do something great because somebody needs you. See, Ed, who helped my dad, Ed, he didn't know it, but that whole time he was drinking, that whole time he was using drugs, that whole time he was lying to his family and living in the shadows, God was qualifying him to someday clean that up and meet my father and be there to help him. See, you can take the things you think are the worst about you and flip them into the things that actually qualify you to help, because you are most qualified to help the man or woman you used to be. Now, what's the fourth D? This is good. I'm getting goosey, so I know it's good, okay? What's the fourth D? Delay. Delay. If I can get you to delay, if I can get you to slow it down, if I can get you to procrastinate, you're never going to find your dreams. You're never going to become the person you were born to be. If I can get you to delay. And how do I get you to delay? I convince you need to know more to take the next step. I convince you got to get a little bit more prepared. I convince you it's not the right time. I could tell you something, my dear sweet friend, it's never going to be the right time. The right time is now. But if I can get you to delay, you've known this all your life. With your kids, you're like, do your homework now. I'll get around to it, Mom. You know right now, delay is the weapon to get people to lose their dreams. But you have to ask yourself a question. Have you been delaying? Have you been delaying? See, perfection is the lowest possible standard. You know what I've found with the people that have a level of success that some people don't? Is they don't have to know everything before they take a step. And the people that I know that have a hard time winning and being happy in their life are getting around to getting around to getting around to getting around to be ready. And they delay. And you know what happens when you delay? Sometimes you just miss the moment. Sometimes you just miss the moment. There's a rhythm and a pace and a cadence to success that I think most people don't see. And my wish for you, my prayer for you is that you'd stop delaying. If there's a decision you need to make, do it now. If there's a relationship you need to fix, fix it. If there's something you've been sitting on that's on your heart that you want to express, stop delaying. If there's something in you you want to give to the world or someone you want to reach out to, don't delay. Please don't delay. Somebody needs you. What if that man would have delayed helping my father? What if he would have delayed in that moment? Have the courage to step into your greatness. And that greatness will always be to help people. Focus on your intentions. If you want to have a tremendous amount of worthiness, don't wait around till you're completely ready. Focus on your intentions. I intend to serve. I intend to make a difference. You don't have to know everything. You'll figure it out when you get there. I promise you, my friend, you will figure it out when you get there. You know, in every family, we lose people that we love. And unfortunately for me, I lost my dad a couple years ago. It was he became my hero. See, I don't think people can change their lives. I know they can. I watched my hero do it. I watched my dad for the first 15 years of my life live a way that I don't think he was very proud of. And then I watched in one decision to get sober. And then when my dad got sober, I said, Dad, are you ever going to drink again? He goes, Eddie, I can't tell you I'm never going to again, but I can tell you I'm not going to drink for one more day. And he stacked up those one more days the rest of his life and helped thousands of other people. So I don't think you can change your life. I know you can. I was honored and blessed that I was with my dad when he took his last breath. I was holding his hand. And after my dad passed away in his home, my mom and my sisters just didn't really want to be in the room with my dad, with his body. And it was about an hour and a half before the hearse came to pick up my precious dad. And so I was honored. I got to be in the room with my dad, and I walked back in the room, and my dad was there. But he wasn't. I had this tremendous sense that although my dad's body was there, my dad was gone. That wasn't my dad there anymore. And I could only conclude that if that wasn't my dad, if his body was right there, who was my dad then? My dad was a soul. My dad was a spirit. He was an energy. So if we're not our bodies, and then, by the way, in the very room we were a lot of my dad's awards that he had won in his life. We're not our awards and our achievements. We were in my dad's house, and in the garage was my dad's car. But my dad didn't take those with him. So we're not our accumulations, are we? We're not. We're not our awards. We're not our bodies. By the way, my dad had problems when he passed away. We're not our problems. We don't take those with us. So I started to think when I was with my dad, clearly he was a soul. I could feel this was not my father. He had gone to heaven. He had gone somewhere, whatever your beliefs are. He had gone. So then my dad can't take his problems. He can't take his accumulations. He can't take his awards, and neither can you. So you can't take those things with you. Here's the good news. You can leave something here. You can leave something here. And I started to think, what did my dad leave here? My gosh, my dad left all those people he helped get sober. My dad left his spirit and his energy in me, in my sisters, in our family, the difference he made, the way he lived his life. He left something profound here. And the reason I share this with you is you can't take your problems, your possessions, your accumulations. You go get all those things. I've got them all. Go get them. They're awesome. But what I would ask you, my sweet friend, is what do you want to leave here? What do you want to leave here? The difference you make, the memories you have, the energy you leave. When your soul goes where it's going, what do you leave here? And equally important, where do you want to go? My prayer for you is that in this moment you make this decision to feel, I'm not going to be doubting anymore. I'm not going to be discouraged anymore. I'm not going to be delusional anymore. And I'm not going to delay anymore on who I'm becoming. That I'm going to make a decision to do something great with my life. I was born to do it. And I am qualified to help the people I used to be. And the more I grow, there's more people I can help because I used to be them. Amen? Gosh, it's so good. I want to leave with you. I want to remind you of something, lastly. I'm always here to help you. Anything I can ever do for you, I want to help you. I want to help you like that man helped my dad any way I can. I know what it's like not to feel worthy. I know what it's like not to grow up in a perfect family. I know what it's like to have doubt and to be discouraged. Man, I know what it's like to be delusional, and I sure know what it's like to delay. Here's the good news. Have you ever seen a really happy family? I remember when I was growing up, there were other families on the street I lived on, and they just seemed so happy. I thought, man, what are happy families like? Maybe a rich family. You ever see a rich family? You ever look at a happy or a rich family and think to yourself, wow, that's incredible. You know what I figured out about happy families or rich families or both? They weren't always that way, right? At some point back in their lineage, that rich family wasn't. That happy family at some point wasn't until the one shows up. In every family, there's the one. There's that one precious soul who changes that family forever. That they start to think different, act different, live differently, believe differently. They sow worthiness into their family that wasn't there before. In every family, there's the one. In my family, I'm the one. My dad got sober and opened the door, but I'm the one. I did the late nights. I was up early. I worried. I carried the emotional burden. I'm the one who had to overcome the doubts. I'm the one who had to overcome discouragement. I'm the one who had to stop being so delusional about all my weaknesses. I'm the one who had to stop delaying. In every family, there's the one. My hallucination about you is that if you felt any emotion at all today from me, any feeling at all, any butterflies, anything, any of it, you're the one. You're the one. You're the one. It may have by the way, it's never who you think. No one would have picked me. There's this great author, by the way, her name's Dr. Broderick. She refers to the one, I love the way she refers to it, as a transitional character in a family. I'll read this to you. A transitional character is one who in a single generation changes the entire course of a lineage. The changes might be for good or ill, but the most noteworthy examples are those individuals who grow up in an abusive or emotionally destructive environment or a poor environment, and who somehow find a way to metabolize the poison and refuse to pass it on to their children. They break the mold. They refute the observation that abused children become abusive parents, that the children of alcoholics become alcoholics, that poor children have to become poor adults. Their contribution to humanity is to filter the destructiveness out of their own lineage so that the generations downstream will have a supportive foundation upon which to build productive lives. That would be my prayer for you. My prayer for you is that you decide today you want to be the one in your family, that you love your family more than you're afraid to step into your greatness. Let me say that to you again, that you fill yourself for your love for your family and the people that you want to help, and that you love them more than you're scared, more than you're afraid, and that you connect to those intentions, my sweet, precious friend, to do something great with your life. And so when I started today, I told you were born to do something great with your life. I was right about you. I was right about you. And I know you can do this. I want to challenge you to be the one in your family and to never again doubt, be discouraged, delusional, or delay on your dreams. I'm committed to helping you do that. I believe Jamie's book is the first start in you making that decision today. And so thank you so much for our time. God bless you and max out your life. Thank you.
whole lot of tears up in here. A whole lot of people realizing they are the one, right? I look at everyone nodding. Yeah, a lot of tears up in here. And what a beautiful message you shared on top of us opening and talking about how we're not crazy, we're just first, right?
That's delusion, by the way. Thinking you're crazy is delusion. Knowing you're first is the truth.
It's the truth. That was so beautiful. One quick update, there's now 259,000 people live. You guys are inviting your friends to join us, right? Or they heard Ed Milet's here and Robin's here, now everyone's hopping on. So, you and I are such good friends out of here, and we have some of the best conversations about self-worth.
We do.
And just so you guys know, Ed's one of the people I call when I just feel like I need to be seen or see myself. Sometimes when you're just feeling like you forget who you are, and you are one of the best in the world at seeing people. And if you would, I love this so much, and I just know it's going to be exactly for someone today. Would you share a little bit about your own journey of building self-worth? And then I'm going to also ask you about, let me tell you about you, because this is going to be so powerful. But a lot of people see you, Ed, on the outside, and they see a lot of things, right, that you've built, and companies and this and that and all of that. But can you share the inside that so many people see themselves in?
Yeah, well, you know me really well on this. And by the way, you're that person for me. I've always really struggled with this. I'm not so sure that, as you and I talk all the time, that I still don't have bouts of struggling with it as well. I used to think if I can just achieve enough things, then I'll love myself. Because when I was a little boy, maybe a lot of you relate to this, I conflated significance or recognition with love. So if I brought home an A on my report card, I got a lot of love, right? Or if I hit a home run in baseball, I got a lot of love. So I went, oh, okay, so if I do a bunch of stuff. But what I figured out is no matter what mansion you get or car you're driving, my dad finally, when he got sober, told me this. He said, Eddie, you got to bring you with you.
Yeah.
So when you're sitting in these places, and I just finally accepted the fact that these things I was telling myself were lies, and lies vibrate at the lowest possible frequency, and so we feel smaller. We shrink in our lives when we tell ourselves the truth about ourselves. So here's what I started doing, because I don't think you have to believe everything you think, like I said. I stopped listening to myself, and I started talking to myself more. So a lot less listening to this dude in there that was doing all that, and I started to speak to myself. And so that those speaking to me was, I'm built for this. I deserve this. I'm worthy of this. I would use my faith life to validate those things as well. Whatever your faith is, it's amazing to me in life how often, whatever we believe faith-wise, how we kind of check that at the door most days of the week except Sunday, or at our synagogue, or Wednesday, or Bible study. Why not connect your worthiness to this thing that you believe so greatly in, and my intentions? And so I always kind of walk, like even today before I came out here to speak, I just reminded myself I intend to serve. My intentions are good. My intentions are to make a difference. It fills me with a lot of worthiness that I'm connected to my intent, not my ability. You said it earlier. When it's connected to your ability, you'll be chasing it. What happens when you do have a failure? What happens when there's a setback? So it's very rarely connected to my ability, more to my intent.
Yes, and just to elaborate on what you just shared, because you teach this so well, for those of you that are like, oh, I'm attaching my worth to my job title, or my worth to my performance, or my worth to my relationship status, you're saying that is a recipe to fall flat on your face. But when you attach your worth to your intention,
yes,
right? So if you believe and know you're a good person, because as you say, when we believe someone else is a good person, we believe they're worthy.
Yep.
So when you actually focus on your own good intentions, all of a sudden your self-worth rises, your self-worth soars.
It was too much work for me when people go, oh, you're so smart. It's hard for me to believe that. I'm not going to wait until I really believe all these incredible things about me. Or, hey, Ed, you're this amazing. I'm still not very good at that. But if you say, you know what, I think you're kind. I think you want to help. I go, I believe that one. That one I believe. And so I've just attached it to the path of least resistance with me, is that I kind of know my heart. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes all the time. But I do believe that about me since I was a little boy.
That's so good. I see a lot of people in the chat saying, I love that. So good. I just want everyone to note that, because as we talked about earlier, when we raise our self-worth, it impacts everything else in our life. And this is a self-worth shortcut. This is a self-worth shortcut. So this is a really, really big one that everyone can apply to their life right now, right now, because most of us do believe we have good intentions,
Right.
even though our outcome might not be what we want. But when we focus on that, I love that you called that out. And I want to just share, this is so beautiful. I just can't help but not ask you this.
Okay.
And we talk about this in Worthy, actually, and
Yeah.
thank you so much for letting me share. Thank you for your kind words about this book, by the way.
It's the most important work that's come along in my own life. So it's easy for me to rave about you because I love you, but this work, when you remember, you called me and said, I think I have my book. And you told me what it was. I said, oh my gosh, you need to write this. And then I was one of the first people to get some of the advanced stuff, and I told you, oh wow, here we go. This is going to be incredible. And so it's just work that, a lot of books I recommend, I think this would help you to someone else. This book helps me. And so that's why I believe in it so deeply and you so deeply.
It was like a divine download. And, it's just we're all on this journey. And a lot of people hide it, right? And a lot of people you see on the internet, it's hard to know other people are actually going through this too. And it's like that one thing that changes everything. So I want to ask you, because I just got word, and I want to know if this, I want to know, but apparently you're doing something really special for everyone who grabs a copy of Worthy today.
I am. Well, we are.
We are.
So I think this is one of the coolest things ever. So you and I are going to do a private coaching call with anybody who they grab a copy of Worthy today, correct? So
Yeah.
anybody who grabs a copy of the book today, we're going to do a group coaching, private coaching call, just Jamie and I, with you if you grab a book. And so I think there's a link for that too. Where do they go for that?
Yeah, go to worthybook.com. But
Good.
it's so generous of
Good.
you to offer that. And I think it's just, and it's going to be a big group. It's just for everyone who grabs it.
Well,
but
and by the way, you and I have never done that together before.
never done
And
it.
neither one of us really do a lot. So it's a pretty unique opportunity for her and I to get to spend time with you.
Yeah.
But there'll probably be something in there that'll help you as well. So join us.
Yeah, join us. And
Yeah.
it's just, this is such a beautiful day. Thank you for your generosity in doing that. Because, this is a journey, right? This journey of self-worth is a full journey. There's one thing I was going to share, but I'm going to let everyone read it in here. It is a story about how you have a practice with your kids. Let me tell you about you.
Yeah, they should get it in the book.
Really see them,
Yeah.
right? And there are times, y'all, where I am on the verge of tears, and I will call Ed and be like, "Can you tell me about me?"
She does.
And but I now do this with my kids as well, and my husband. It's just a beautiful practice. It's in the book. I want to say thank you so
I love you.
much. I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here in person.
Yeah.
For coming here to share your time and pour into each and every one of you. Can you guys put your hands together?
Thank you, everybody.
My dear friends and my friends.